to the Coach Ali Smith Show. You're watching Average Joe Sports Talk from Chick-fil-A Gadsden at 4th Street.
All right, guys, welcome in to the Coach Ali Smith Show. Filmed live here at Chick-fil-A Gadsden at 4th Street. Coach Smith, you got that first win last week, man. Tell us how that felt after the game and how the guys felt.
It was big for the guys. I was probably more happy for them because I know they have been feeling that pressure in the school building as well as in the community, and so it was more for them as anything. And at the end of the night, when I got home, I realized it probably hit me then. But it was exciting to get it over with and try to move forward.
Yeah, it was a good feeling. I think I may have teared up a little bit, got a little emotional because I was happy for those guys. And I noticed the administration, they came up and they gave you a big hug after the game. That's important.
Yeah, the people that mean the most to our program, our kids, our administration, our student body, they were probably more excited than I was, and then we had some students that was really excited for our players, and it showed. So everybody was excited, and I told our kids, I'm not really an emotional guy, but I was excited for those kids because we started the season out with 89 guys, and we're still sitting at 85, and our kids, they've done everything we've asked them, and they really tried. And we ask them to come in a lot of times before school or early morning practices, and they do it for us, and they still doing it. So they want to be good, and they're trying the best they can. And so, I tell them a lot of times, sometimes you can do everything right and never get rewarded, and then the first time you do something wrong, then you get punished for it.
Right.
So it was big for them to get that win.
Yeah, because I was actually surprised at the number of students that came out to that game. The student section was just as big, if not bigger, at this game in the rain than they have been at previous games.
Oh yes, our students, man, it was big for our school. One thing that I say, when we say together we are the Titans, man, that showed Friday night because our student body, they was there, and they were excited. It's like we're not going to clinch the region title, and far from it, but they were really excited.
Right, all right. Speaking of the rain and the wet conditions, how did you guys prepare for that going into the game last week?
Well, we've practiced a couple of times this spring and this summer in the rain, and had a couple of days where we got a little drenched early on in the over into fall camp. So and then we did some wet ball drills and different things like that, and we think it helped us Friday night. We wasn't able to move the ball like we wanted to in certain areas, but we were able to do some things to capitalize.
Yeah, I think you only had one fumble on the night, so that's pretty good considering the conditions and the downpour that we had during the second quarter.
Most definitely, and that fumble came when it wasn't raining.
Yeah. All right, speaking of, kind of talking about that weather again, was there any talk about moving that game to Thursday, or was it just going to be on Friday?
Well, no, we really wanted to. We thought about it, but it was so many moving parts because of so many people in the community had planned to be there for Friday when it was a homecoming festivity. So that was the only reason why we didn't move it, because I actually wanted to move it to Thursday, but we, football-wise, it would have been really easy. But when you're talking about the homecoming court, the parade, different things that we had planned, they just didn't see a lot of moving parts. They didn't see that we could get it done.
Yeah, I noticed there was still a big turnout for everything at the venue. The players seemed engaged and seemed to enjoy that. And like I said, despite the rain, the community came out and showed their support.
Yes, it was a nice crowd.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the guys on the offense. CJ Miller had another big role. He had 61 yards and 1 touchdown. Talk about his development and getting him more involved in the offense.
Well, we want to get our offense moving. We feel like we got a lot of guys, but we feel like we got to get our running game established. And I spoke to you before. I thought we feel like we got 4 really good backs. One of them is a senior, but we have 2 sophomores and 1 junior. We really feel like we can build off of that going into the near future. But CJ done a really good job for us, and we want to get him more touches. And again, I told you we got our kid Ratavius Hicks and DeAbbie Byers. All 3 of those guys, we look forward to seeing them in the future.
Yeah, because CJ, they had a hard time bringing him down a few times.
Oh yes, definitely. He's a load, and when you look at him initially, people don't realize how fast he is and how athletic he is. And he's got really soft hands and really quick feet as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I noticed that. Passing game seemed to, I guess, the weather affected your passing game a little bit, but DeMarcus still had. He was still 6 for 13, 72 yards, and a touchdown. Talk about that.
Yeah, the drenching rain, man, it was coming, it'll come, then it'll stop, and then, so we didn't want it, and again, our running game, we were able to move the ball some, so we didn't want to put it up too much and make a mistake there, so we were trying to be a little conservative, as you would like to say, but we had practiced on it, and we wasn't going to be scared to throw it in the rain, but we didn't have to as much as we would. Wouldn't tend to like to.
All right. On your defense, me personally, I feel like the defense played an outstanding game. They had pressure on the quarterback and shut down their running game. I think they only had 56 yards rushing for the night. Talk about that. I mean, was that something y'all keyed in on in practice? I think you brought that up last week. They run the wing team.
Yes, sir. We talked about being able to stop the run, and we wanted to stop the run. If we could, going into every game, we wanted to stop the run. If we can make teams one-dimensional, we feel like our kids can cut loose and just play.
Right.
And the other night, it was real big for us to make them one-dimensional. But they got a little hot in the second half and was able to move the ball in the air, hit us on a couple seam routes and stuff. We had 2 or 3 blown coverages, and they capitalized.
Because I felt like the defense, a couple of the guys they played like they had a chip on their shoulder. They came out this Levi and Alan Merrick and Quentin, some of those guys. They came out and they were on fire.
Well, we hope they stay on fire, and we've been wanting them to be on fire all year. And but they flew around to the football. I think our kids played relaxed Friday night, and I think they were actually having fun.
Yeah,
I really felt like they were having fun.
Yeah, I could see that on the sideline, and when Grissom kind of came back in the second half, I noticed some of the older guys and some of the younger guys, they were telling everybody to keep their heads up and trying to keep them motivated.
Yes, and that's what we need to do. We got to handle the highs and the lows of the game.
Oh yeah. Last night we had Levi Adams and DeMarcus on as our players of the week. Talk about those two guys for me and what they mean to the team.
2 exceptional student athletes, first and foremost. They represent our team and our community and our school as a whole, as well as you want to be. Levi does a little tutoring in our after-school program at one of the middle schools. He did it all summer and all spring. That's really big for us. DeMarcus is, as I call him, East Side legend, and they love him. He's been a Pee Wee legend and all that around here in the community. So when he has success, a lot of the people in the community feel like they're having that success too. So those are two of the finest young men in our program.
Yes, we've had a lot of. We had our one-on-one with DeMarcus. We talked about this last night. That we had a lot of people in the community talk about how humble he is and how he's just a great overall kid.
Yeah, he is definitely.
Yeah,
both of them are really good kids.
Oh yeah, and I can't wait for that video to drop. There's a lot of laughs in that video. Oh yeah, he does. We're gonna move on and talk about the game this week. We got Clay Chalkman coming to town. Senior night. It's a big night for the seniors. Their last home game at Gadsden City. Clay Chalkman is 7-2. They're headed to the playoffs. Talk about how are the guys feeling right now?
Well, I think they're excited, and when I say I think they are excited about the opportunity to get a chance to compete against a top-tier team. And the last 2 times we played against teams that we knew that were really real good teams that we get a chance to compete, we didn't fare very well, and we're anxious to see how we're going to compete Friday night. Our kids understanding that. I was very open with them when we had a team meeting at the first of the week that they got to play really good football. We got to take care of the football, and if we do that, we'll be fine. The 2 previous games we had 2 really good opponents, not taking anything from any of the other guys, but when you know that you got to bring your A game to win, they understand it. We got to just take care of football and get lined up and play football.
That's good. Talking about Clay Chalkman, what have you seen on film about them that kind of sticks out?
Real good football team. Very well coached football team. Offensively, defensively, special teams. You can tell they take a lot of pride in their special teams. They have a senior group on defense. They have 10 starters that are seniors on defense. There's 1 junior. Their offense, they have a senior that's leading that group. Quarterback, very well groomed young man, but they have a lot of sophomores that are playing over on the offensive side, so it kind of balance out. For us, we have seniors in a lot of areas, and then we have a lot of sophomores and juniors playing as well. So we're excited about the opportunity.
Okay. Well, Coach, before we get out of here, we got something for you from the Average Joes. I want to present to you. Got a picture with the scoreboard from the game last week.
All right.
We want to get that to you and congratulate you on your first win as a head coach.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man. Hey,
All right, no
put that one up in my office.
All right. All right.